we must now very quickly run you through our top three liveries of all time. My livery hall of fame features largely cars of a very particular era. And this one comes up in number three. It's Ferrari from 2008, the season where we had Felipe Massa become the world champion for a couple of seconds. But look at the way the red flows into this car. I think this is the perfect shade of what the Ferrari red is all about. And then the Shell sponsorship, which was iconic. The Alice logos on the side. Bridgestone, who were a mighty, mighty part of Ferrari's success. And the barcode logos hiding out Marlboro. That's the culmination of everything that Ferrari was all about in the mid-2000s. And it was their last time they won a world championship. Special year. But number two is something different, but it's off the same year, mind you. It's the Toro Rosso from 2008, because that was the first time I ever saw a victorious Formula One car. That was my first race, Italy 2008. Sebastian Vettel won in this thing. And look, does it look like any Formula One car ever with the livery and the logo placements? There's no corporate branding of multiple different sponsors to please. It's just one gigantic Red Bull. A bull that won that day. Everything's so sharp and angular, which also works so well on my favorite livery of all time. Slightly biased, it's all of the same era. It's the 2008 McLaren Formula One car. The silver that I mentioned earlier. Screaming Mercedes. And that's what it was all about. But then also screaming of McLaren's most successful era after Senna and Prost. They won so much around that time, 2007, 2008. Last time they were fighting for championships properly. But it's phenomenal. And the angles, the wings, the red, and the Lewis Hamilton yellow helmet, which, by the way, was something he owned at that time. It was quite special. And then he had to drop it because Rosberg and him had similar colors. So it's such a blast from the past. This has to be right up there.
For me, when you talk about the Livery Hall of Fame, in my mind, that's not a livery that you really have to describe. If I say certain keywords, you're able to visualize it straight away. So in no particular order, in all of F1 history, some of the most beautiful liveries have unfortunately come from tobacco companies, because for some reason they just blend in so beautifully. So I would say Ayrton Senna, McLaren, and I know what you're looking at. You're looking at the white and the red of the McLaren 1980s. I wouldn't say any specific livery, maybe 1988, his first championship, but that Marlboro white and red was so defining through that time. And even today, they're actually one of the reasons why the curbs look red and white. But this is one of the all-time liveries for me. Secondly, if I say ground effect, Lotus, Colin Chapman, you're not thinking the iconic British green. You're not thinking the yellow that goes with it. You're thinking of the black and the gold. We've seen that throughout the 70s and 80s. It's been used several times. And then also when Kimi was also racing and Grosjean was racing in the 2010s. And of course, I think this is one of the best liveries. It was used only for one season, if I'm not wrong. The Jordan 191, the 7-Up livery. Look at the car as well. Look at how the car looks as well. It's so beautifully sculpted, if that's the word I want to use. It's so beautifully sculpted, and the colors just goes so well with no unnecessary fade. The balance of the colors is so beautiful, and it just registers in your head. So I think these are my three most iconic liveries of all time.
I could just play out Sundaram's segment and still be like, that's actually my segment as well. Because I have picked two out of the same three liveries that he's picked up. So the black and golden, absolutely iconic from the ages. In fact, so iconic that I'm surprised no team has actually started to reuse this. But maybe one of the reasons why they are not reusing it is because this is so much down to the Lotus team. If you paint a car red and go racing, it'll still be thought of as a Ferrari. It can never be thought of something else. So this black and golden, absolutely strikingly hot livery for me. The next one I would pick.
Someone actually tried it. Someone actually tried recreating it.
Yes.
Lotus themselves did it, right? They tried it.
The people that tried it, they went stories up in the air and crashed down stories once their entire fortune was bust. Does that strike a bell?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but even Lotus had it, right? Lotus.
2012.
You're right. They've tried it, but it did nothing as iconic. Yes, the next one would be the same one, the 7-Up one. Again, such a striking color. And the way it blends in, so striking that when we've been discussing a refresh for the brand, and I've been sharing some color palettes, I said, that's it, this is the car. the colors on this car is the colors that I would love to have for the InsideLine F1 podcast. So if you guys see these colors in the future, you know what the inspiration behind these colors have been. And then the next one actually is also another tobacco-inspired livery, the Buzzing Hornet livery. The yellow is such a beautiful car. I would have never imagined a yellow racing car, but even a Ferrari, if not in red, looks gorgeous in a yellow. And Eddie Jordan pulling off two such striking liveries, including the Jordan 191, that was also an Eddie Jordan livery. This is also an Eddie Jordan livery. I love the way that, the Hornet, Benson and Hedges would turn to Buzzing Hornets, and they had this sort of, Buzzing Hornets on the nose of the car. But I am being biased because the next one is a livery that actually I ended up designing at Force India. Okay, so all the Force India fans would remember we had the wavy color designs from 2009. And then I was tasked with having a design which was similar, which was a saffron white and green of the Force India, of the Indian flag, but also having something which is new, which is more futuristic. And we designed this particular livery. And it was actually rated by the best livery for the season by the fans, run by a media outlet at that time. So completely biased, but this stands out as a very striking livery for me.
Didn't you have Shah Rukh Khan's face on the top of it?
Yes, one of the races, the Indian Grand Prix, we had Shah Rukh Khan's face on the nose of the car. But yes, we've done these things before. The only human on the planet to actually have a face, a photo plastered on the nose of a Formula One car.
Kunal, I can't really see the side pods, but does this one have side pods at all? Or is it the one that is flattened?
What an icon this one was. And representing the Indian flag so proudly in the world of Formula One. We miss that. Honestly, we do.